Motherfucker!
All night running for the great pumpkin.
You small dick having, blanket fucking worshiping.
Pumpkin fucking motherfucker.
Yeah.
What a fool I was. I could have had candy, apples, and gum, and cookies and money and all sorts of things. But no, I had to listen to you, you blockhead. What a fool I was.
You bitch.
Please come only once a year, and I miss it by sitting in a pumpkin patch with a blockhead. You owe me restitution. You heard about Fury and a woman scorned, haven't you? Yes, I guess I have. Well, that's nothing compared to the fury of a woman who has been cheated out of tricks or treats.
Look, and they just leave his ass alone right there.
Aren't you going to wait and greet the great pumpkin? Huh?
Damn.
It won't be long now. If the great pumpkin comes, I'll still put in a good word.
Uh-oh.
Grief. I said if. I meant when he comes.
Too late now, motherfucker.
Dude,
I love
little
that.
flip like that and cause the great pumpkin to pass you by. Oh, great pumpkin, where are you?
Damn.
You know,
torturing those kids, these writers.
Jesus, man. Charles Schulz, boy, he must have had a tormented childhood. Actually, he kind of did. If I read correctly, because I have the book, Schulz is sitting right up here, talks about his life growing up and how he felt like his whole life he had something to prove. And I think even to the day he died, he was still doing what he did just to prove to the other people how successful he can be or his potential, or show them, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, he's for such a legendary guy, such an icon.
Yeah. Just knowing that a guy like that had those kind of, like, I guess you can call them demons, always
these insecurities that just never left. And hey, look, in a way, if they didn't, I mean, we probably wouldn't have the writing and the characters that we have right now. I mean, it's
write what you know.
Yeah, exactly. Still, if you're depressed and fucked up in the head,
down on paper.
put it down. I mean, because that was a guy that was true to himself, and granted, being true to himself meant that he was, I guess he's full of anxiety, but an insecurity, and he always felt like he had something to prove, but definitely made his characters what they were, because he didn't write for children. He wrote what he knew, and he just put that in the body of cartoon kids.
Now you're making me depressed again, Corey. It's like that poor guy, always trying to prove everybody, I can write a good story. I'll show you
on his deathbed.
This panel. This is my masterpiece. Somebody will notice.
That fool's dying. Even when he's like about to die, he's like, I am somebody. I know it.
Charles, your shit's on TV, they animated. No, it's not
no,
me.
I still have something to prove.
That's an atrocity. No, this is the truth.
I tell you, man, though, I'm glad that he didn't write down for children, that he just wrote whatever he wrote, and whoever it appealed to, that's whoever it appealed to, because looking at I wish we could get another animated series that uses this it doesn't use the same kind of music that we do today. Not everybody's trying to rip off what's popular right then. It's not wacky. I wish we got something that kids could enjoy that was just, and maybe they have something out there like that. I'm sure they do, and I just haven't seen it.
We probably don't know.
I mean, a lot of people tell me Animaniacs, and I'm thinking like, Animaniacs did not write down the kids, but it was still goofy, it was still wacky. I would love to see, this is what I love. One of the things I really loved about the Peanut specials is the music. Most of it was done by a guy named Vince Giraldi, and he got a jazz musician to do the music for it. And it was music that, I'm telling you today, if they got this guy to do music for a children's special or a children's program, the executives, they would look at it and they'd be like, kids don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
We got to bring in something make funny music.
Yeah, well, something wacky or goofy.
Yeah. And I said, if I ever got into, as somebody who's in animation and produces animation, if I ever got into a place where I made a children's show, and I would love to one day, I would never, ever do what we see out there. and it would completely fail. But at least I know deep in my heart that I did it. No one would watch it.
What is this, Coleman?
Get this shit out of my office.
Do it again.
But I would just never do it. I would find a voice, and maybe I would have to tone it down for kids. I can't go around making it like a let's do this for kids, But I don't mind that. I get along with kids really well. I can make kids laugh, and a lot of it doesn't have to be done just by being stupid or goofy.
Yeah, I always think, I think sometimes kids are smarter than the adults who think that they're stupid.
Yeah, well, look at this. If you look at these Peanut specials, there's some deep things about them. A lot of things. There's some real deep shit. Yeah, there's some writing in there that people would just never think you would do for kids. I remember watching A Boy Named Charlie Brown. I think I mentioned this before. That thing depresses me so much, and I love it because at the end of it, it's the one where he had to spell. He went to a spelling bee, and for once, Charlie Brown is doing something in his life where everybody's cheering him on, and he goes to the spelling bee out of town. I think it's between him and one other kid, and they ask him to spell beagle. His dog is a beagle, and he fucks it up. And even that's one of all the heads on the screen, and whenever they spell something wrong, you would hear that wah wah, and then the head would disappear like, and they'd be gone. Mm-hmm. And it happened to him. He was between him and one other guy. And he was like beagle, 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 wah 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 wah. He just go, and back at home, everybody's like, "You blockhead! You blew it! Damn you, Charlie Brown! You blew it!
You cupcake!" But the thing is, I remember that because it's one of those things when you're watching it, it feels like you're up there doing the spelling bee. So when he fucked up,
sweat,
you feel like you fucked up, and it's just it hits you that much harder. You're like, "What the fuck?" And then you realize. Your dog is a beagle.
Your fucking dog's a beagle, man. How'd you fuck this up?
Pay attention to him.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I think that's what Lucy said when she's like, "Fuck, Jesus Christ, Charlie Brown. God damn." But he comes back home, and when he gets off the bus station, it's just desolate. No one's waiting on Charlie Brown. No one's cheering him on. No one's happy to see him. They don't want him back because they're like, "Oh, it's the same old dumbass Charlie Brown. Of course you fucked it up. Why do we even believe you in the first place?" Yeah. And he just goes home and sulks for like a day. He doesn't leave the bed. And there's, for any other writer who would write a children's movie, there would be a lesson of, "Well, we support you, Charlie Brown. Don't ever give up." Yeah, man, we all make mistakes. Hey, Charlie Brown, at least you got that far. You're a winner.
They'd find some way to have a happy ending.
A happy ending and a message about, hey, don't ever give up.
Don't give up, yeah. No, try. Yeah.
But, and they did have that message of don't give up. But it was under the guise of, hey, that's life. Yeah. Deal with it. Because Linus comes over, he talks to him, and Charlie Brown says, "Go away. I'm not getting out of bed. No one likes me. Everybody hates me. I'm not ever coming out." And Linus is just like, "Well, you do what you want to, Charlie Brown." And before he leaves, he turns back and looks at Charlie Brown. He's like, "But hey, did you notice? The world didn't come to an end." And it's like, wow, it's just kind of like that. The message
very
is pretty
profound.
much, fucking deal with it. That's what he was saying. Yeah, and
expect to fail every once in a while.
And and it ended kind of sweet. Charlie Brown gets up, goes out. He sees Lucy with the football. She's not paying attention. He tries to kick it. Of course, that bitch pulls her away, and he falls on his ass. But, hey, at least she came back and acknowledged him. She comes back over his head, and she's like, "Welcome home, Charlie Brown." And, it's all good. Hey.
Even though you still think, man, that's still fucked up.
Yeah, it is. It was very depressing. And then they have Tony Bennett.
It was like when the troops came home after Vietnam. There was no parade for them. There was no parade for them.
They got no heroes welcomed. And you know what? And the thing that really got to me, they have Tony Bennett singing the song at the end.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a boy named Charlie.
See, I would love to see a documentary about how they got all those performers to, how they went by going, "Hey, we have this cartoon that we're doing. It's based on this comic strip, Peanuts. How would you feel like doing music for this,
Yeah.
And just going by and seeing how these guys thought about doing something which they probably thought was just some kid show,
Of course.
Yeah. So it would be really interesting to hear their stories, how they got involved with it.
This is the prime example of somebody who didn't talk down to kids actually put more of his neuroses in those characters, and didn't worry about if kids would get it or not. Didn't worry about how it would affect kids' mental state, well-being. And look at him. The guy has one of the most everlasting icons in the history of cartooning.
And it's amazing to think that, wow, you just wonder if, I know there can only be one, Charles Schulz, but it's like you're always wondering, is there ever going to be another person like him to ever come around,
Probably in a different way,
age, in a different way probably, but that will have that long-lasting effect of characters that just stick with you.
I mean, because look at it. I mean, when you think of comic strip, I mean, even little kids today who are coming up, when you think of a comic strip, what do you think? Peanuts. Yeah. I mean, there's been tons of comic strips out there that
Family
are very
Circle,
popular.
Corey.
No! God damn it, that's second. No. But yeah, you think Peanuts, and that's it. I mean, out of all the comic strips that are out there, Garfield. Okay, maybe people think of Garfield, but if you do, you're fucking lame.
Yeah, he sucks.
I kind of like Garfield when I was growing up. Man, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, people. When I was in college, I hung around the cool cartoonists who hated Garfield.
Yeah.
Like if you were reading Garfield, they pretty much just beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
They were a bunch of geeks. They still find a way to beat the shit out of you.
See, I was more of a Heathcliff fan myself.
Man, I tell you what. I'll tell you this much. One of the funniest cartoons I've ever seen is a Heathcliff cartoon.
Of course it is.
And I'll tell you why. Because it was crazy. It was weird. A lot of people are like, Heathcliff was? Heathcliff was the cat before Garfield came and took his shit.
Yeah.
Took the spotlight away from him. Heathcliff was the man.
Yeah.
He was a cat. He was like a sassy,
snaggletooth cat. He was sticking out, I think.
Yeah, he had that one bottom tooth.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like a fang. It was like a human tooth. But he was that cool cat that, hey, I just coast by on life.
Yeah, exactly. He was lazy.
Yeah, lazy.
He just wanted to hang out and do his thing.
But I saw this cartoon, man, and it still makes me laugh to think about it. There's this bum sleeping on a bench, and Heathcliff walks up and sees him there. And Heathcliff pulls out this fucking huge 2x4
Yeah.
and smacks him across his feet. And,
awesome.
And the next panel shows that bum running off in the background. And Heathcliff took his place on the bench.
Took his bench, that's right. Yeah, he was always like a fucking plotter.
He was kind of an asshole.
He was an asshole. That's what I liked about
him. You know what?
You're an asshole. Yeah.
That was the day that cartoonist didn't have a joke.
Oh, yeah.
And because he didn't, he came up with something even funny. That was that cartoonist fuck it day.
Yeah.
He just looked at it and said, fuck it, man. I'm just going to do whatever. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, whatever. And he did it. And to me, that cartoon has stood out to me ever since, man.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I would love to see that again.
They even had a Heathcliff cartoon for a little while.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah,
you remember that?
Yeah, oh, hell yeah, I remember. And it's funny because I remember kids were always arguing like who came first, Heathcliff or Garfield.
Heathcliff, bitch.
Yeah, I know. These kids didn't know.
Yeah. So kids.
He's just a rip-off of Garfield. What?
I tell you what. Kids, if you ever meet me, don't you ever say some shit like that to me.
Yeah.
Ever.
You get knocked on the feet by a 2x4.
Boy, that was crazy, man.
Oh, my God.
Oh, you know what? And let me play one more thing.
All right.
And I'm not going to even get into it because I've already talked about it every year enough. But you gave me a DVD of one of my absolute favorite Halloween things.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Let me see if I can find it here. I'm just going to play the trailer for it. Mad Monster Party.
Yes.
Mad Monster Party is a Rankin Bass stop-motion animated feature film. And I think the guy that is responsible for the character designs, a guy named, was it Harvey Kurtzman?
Maybe so.
That's the guy who he helped start Mad Magazine. He used to do this guy's been everywhere. He's done art for Mad Magazine. I think he helped start Mad Magazine. He used to do a comic strip for Playboy called Little what was it called?
Fanny Annie.
Fanny Annie. Little Fanny Annie. What's it called? Fanny Annie. Just Fanny Annie. Yeah, he drew that. Well, he did the designs for this, and it's a family feature, so it's not anything dirty or anything.
No, you don't see like huge double D breasts like. And
if you do, they'll cover it up. It's like stop motion puppet breast. But it's a great movie, man. It's about this. You have this professor I guess it's Dr. Frankenstein, man. But he has an island where every year he invites. Well, I don't know if it's every year, but for this particular thing, he has a party this year, and he invites all the famous movie monsters like the Blob and Dracula and the Mummy and the Wolfman, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, and then he invites his nephew, who's just an average, ordinary human,
nerdy guy. Yeah.
And it's just a lot of fun, a lot of cool music in there. Let me see.
This is another one. Like actually, this would be a great double feature with Nightmare Before Christmas.
It would. Oh